Hey, fourth and fifth graders, we are still reading Flora and Ulysses. And last week, or 2 weeks ago, we were stuck on chapter 14. And it's when Ulysses went and ate a bunch of cheese puffs, and then he got to the typewriter. Flora Belle Buckman, get down here right now. Don't call me Flora Belle, fluttered Flora as she opened her eyes. The room was bright with sunlight. She had been dreaming something wonderful. What was it? She had been dreaming about a squirrel in her dream. He was flying with his legs straight out in front of him and his tail straight out behind him. He was a squirrel on his way to save someone. He looked supremely magnificent. Flora sat up and looked down at her feet. There he was, Ulysses, sleeping on a pillow. And did he ever look heroic? In fact, he was glowing, just like Incandesto, except oranger. He was extremely orange. What the heck, said Flora. She leaned over Ulysses and reached out a finger to touch his ear. She held the finger up to the light. Cheese? He was covered in cheese dust. Oh, said Flora. Flora, her mother shouted, I'm not kidding. Get down here right now. Flora went down the stairs and past Marianne, whose cheeks were glowing a healthy and disgusting pink. Remember, Marianne is that weird lamp that she doesn't like. She flicks the lamp and says, You stupid lamp, said Flora. Now, shouted Flora's mother. Flora broke into a trot. She found her mother standing in the kitchen in her bathrobe, staring at the typewriter. What is this? Her mother said. She pointed to the typewriter. It's your typewriter, said Flora. She knew that her mother was absent-minded and preoccupied, but this was ridiculous. How could she not even recognize her own typewriter? I know, it's my typewriter, said her mother. I'm talking about the piece of paper in it. I'm talking about the words on the paper. Flora leaned forward and squinted. She tried to make sense of the word typed on the top of the page. Squirtle? Squirtle, said Flora out loud. She felt a surge of delight at the zippy idiocy of the word. It was almost as good as the word tootie. Keep reading, said her mother. Squirtle, said Flora again. I am Ulysses, born anew. Do you think this is funny? Said her mother. Not really, said Flora. Her heart was beating very fast in her chest, and she kind of felt dizzy. I have told you to leave my typewriter alone, said her mother. I didn't, said Flora. What goes on here is serious business, said her mother. I'm a professional writer, and I'm under a deadline for this novel. There is no time for hijinks. Plus, you ate the whole bag of cheese puffs. No, I didn't, said Flora. Her mother pointed at the empty Cheese-O-Mania bag on the counter, and then she pointed at the typewriter. Flora's mother liked to point at things. You left cheese dust all over the typewriter. That's disrespectful. And you simply cannot eat a whole bag of cheese puffs. It's not healthy. You'll become stout. I didn't, said Flora. But then another wave of dizziness came over her. The squirrel could type? Wholly unanticipated occurrences. I'm sorry, said Flora in a small voice. Well, said her mother. She raised her finger. She was obviously getting ready to point at something again. Fortunately, the doorbell rang. So now we're on to the next chapter, chapter 15, which is called The Electric Chair. To say that the Buckman doorbell rang would be inaccurate. Something had happened to the bell. Its inner workings had become twisted, warped, confused, so that instead of emitting a pleasant ding or bong, the door now sent an angry, window-shattering, you guessed the wrong answer on a game show kind of buzz through the Buckman house. To Flora, the doorbell sounded like an electric chair. Not that she'd ever heard of one, but she had read about the electric chairs and terrible things can happen to you. That particular installment of the comic had not contained any advice other than it would be the best to avoid getting to a place in your life where you would have to face the electric chair and any noises it was capable of making. Flora had found it vaguely threatening and not at all useful issue of terrible things. That's your father, said Flora's mother. He rings that doorbell to make me feel guilty. The doorbell buzzed and crackled again. See, said your mother. No, Flora did not see. How could one person ring a doorbell make another person feel guilty? It was ridiculous. But then, just about everything that Flora's mother said or wrote sounded faintly ridiculous to Flora. For example, on the feathered wings of joy. Since when do you have joy have feathered wings? Don't just stand there, Flora Belle. Go and open the door. Let him in. He's your father. He's here to see you, not me. The electric chair kneel of the doorbell. Keel of the doorbell sounded through the house again. For the love of Pete, said her mother. What is he doing? Leaning on the thing? Let him in. Flora walked slowly through the dining room and into the living room. She shook her head in amazement. Upstairs in her room there was a squirrel who could lift a vacuum cleaner over his head with one paw. Upstairs in her room was a squirrel who could type. Holy bagooba, thought Flora. Things are going to go change around here. We're going to be vanquishing villains right and left. She smiled a very large smile. Flora was still smiling when she unlocked the door and opened it wide. And that is the next question, the next chapter, I mean. So, we will read the next chapter next week. And if you guys want to come get a book, if you are able to, you may come to the library. At 8 o'clock, I'm there from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m. So anytime you want to come over, that'd be great. And on Fridays, I'm there till 1:30. Okay, I will see you guys soon. Bye.